everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Now, to get the most out of this practice test, I suggest that you do one of the following. 1. Download the practice problems, complete them, and then watch the video to check your answer. The other option is that you can pause the video to work each problem before revealing the answer. Now, by watching this video, you're definitely increasing your chances of getting a high score on that final exam. Now, I'm going to go through the material quickly but thoroughly, so if you have to rewind and or fast forward for any reason, please feel free to do so. So let's get started. Section 2, Exponents, Operations with Polynomials. Number 20, simplify. -5 to the 0 power plus -2 to the 0 power. What is the correct answer? Choice E is the correct answer. Recall that for the zero property, any non-zero quantity raised to the 0 power equals 1. So -5 to the 0 power equals 1. -2 to the 0 power equals 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Also remember that 0 is considered an even number, so an even amount of negative signs will always equal a positive. So that is why it equals +1 and not -1. Number 21, simplify. So what is the correct answer? Choice A. So here we have an expression where the entire expression is raised to the -3rd power. So this is what we call the power rule, and you know power rule because power rule is in parentheses. So you're going to take each term within and raise it, both the top and the bottom, to the -3rd power. So let's begin. We have 2 to the -3 power. X already has a power of -2. So remember, with the power rule, we're then going to multiply the two powers to give us x to the 6th power. Let's go to the bottom. We have 5 raised to the -3 power. X already has a power of 2, so when we multiply those powers, that's going to give us x to the -6th power. Now, if you look at this expression, the problem here is that we have a negative exponent here, and we have a negative exponent here and here. So we have these 3 negative exponents that we need to get rid of, so we can use the negative exponent rule, which states that all you need to do is simply flip it and you can turn it into a positive exponent. So let's go ahead and flip that. Everything, those 3 terms, we're going to flip them. So if they were on the top, they go to the bottom, and vice versa. If they were on the bottom, they go to the top. So now we can just finish simplifying this. We have 5 cubed, which means 5 multiplied 3 times, which is going to give us 125. Here I have the product rule, and the product rule states that here when you're multiplying, if the base is the same, keep the base and add the exponents, and that's going to give us x to the 12th power. Down below here we have 2 cubed, which means I'm going to multiply the number 2 3 times, and that's going to give me 8. So our final answer then is 125 x to the 12th power over 8. Number 22. Subtract these two polynomials. So what is the correct answer? Choice C. Okay, so here we have two groups of polynomials, and this group here is being subtracted from this group. Now, because this group, recall that because this group has this negative sign in front of it, everyone in this group has to be changed to their opposite. In other words, you're going to have to distribute a -1 here. So when we distribute a -1, this will become positive 2x squared y squared minus 3xy plus 8y squared. So I can also just simply line them up, but just make sure again that you change the terms of that second group. Once you change the term of that second group, you're then going to combine like terms. So aligned with their terms, you're going to combine these terms, the middle terms, and the last terms. So combining a 4 plus 2, that's going to give me 6. Here, the signs are the same. Remember, if the signs are the same, keep the sign and add the numbers. That's going to give me -5 there in front as a coefficient. And the coefficient of the last term, the signs are the same. So we're simply going to add 8 and 8, which will give us a coefficient of 16. So bringing everything down, the coefficients and their terms, following them, it should look like this. Number 23, multiply the two binomials. So what is the correct answer? Choice B. Okay, so recall it when you're multiplying two binomials that you're going to use FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. So let's go ahead and proceed with using the FOIL method. So first is going to give me 6x squared, outer, -4x, inner, plus 9x, and then last, -6. Next, you need to combine outer and inner. Why? Because outer and inner are like terms. So when we combine outer and inner, that's going to give us 5x. So our final answer would be 6x squared plus 5x minus 6. Number 24, multiplying polynomials. So what is the correct answer? Choice A. So notice here you're multiplying a binomial with a trinomial. So what you're going to do is multiply that first term with each term in the trinomial, and then the second term you're going to also multiply it with each term in the trinomial. So you can do what is called an over the bridge, under the bridge type thing. So with the 5x, you're distributing that, it's going to go over, and then the multiplying the 3 with each term, we're going to go under. So let's go ahead and get started here. So 5x times x squared equals 5x cubed. 5x times -3x equals -15x squared. 5x times -4 equals -20x. And now we're going to go under. 3 times x squared equals 3x squared. Now I'm going to go ahead and place that under the x squared terms because later I'm going to have to combine them. So it just makes it easier when you organize it that way. Next, 3 times -3x equals -9x. And then lastly we have 3 times -4, which equals -12. So now I'm ready to draw my line, and I'm going to go ahead and combine these terms. So remember your sign rules. If the signs are the same, keep the sign and add the numbers. If the signs are different, subtract and use the sign of the larger number. So your final answer should look like this. which is choice A. Number 25, divide the following polynomial. So what is the correct answer? Choice B. Okay, so to divide up polynomials like such as this, you're going to use the long division method. And so one of the first things that you should do with the long division method is make sure that all of your terms are in order, starting from the highest power down to the lowest. So if we check here, we have the degree of 3, 2, and then 1, and our constants. So everything is good, so we can go ahead and proceed. So the next thing you want to do is you're going to look at this outer term here, which is an x, and here in the divisor. And then you're going to look at the first term here underneath the symbol. So this is 5x cubed. So you're going to ask yourself, what do I need to multiply this with to get 5x cubed? Well, I would need to multiply this with 5x squared, because if I have 5x squared plus another x, I would have 5x cubed. So if I need to multiply that with 5x squared, so I'm going to go ahead and write that here above the x squared terms. Okay, so watch me as I multiply this. 5x squared times x, yes, it is 5x cubed. 5x squared times 3 equals 15x squared. Okay, next I'm going to draw my line. It's time to subtract. So these terms will be their opposite. So this is now negative 5x cubed. This is now negative 15x squared. So now that these are opposites, to combine these, notice that my 5x cubes will cancel out. This will be 18 minus 15x squared, so that's going to give me 3x squared to bring down. I'm also going to go ahead and bring down my 8x here. So now that I have these two terms, again, I'm going to look at this outer term here of x and say, what do I need to multiply it with to get 3x squared? So I would need to multiply this with a 3x, because 3x plus this x will give me a total of 3x squared. So I'm going to go ahead and put that 3x here that I would need to multiply that with. So let's check and multiply that with, distribute this 3x. So 3x times x, yes, it does equal 3x squared. 3x times 3 equals 9x. Subtract. Once we subtract, this becomes negative 3x squared, which means these will cancel. This becomes negative 9x, which means when you combine these, I'm going to bring down a negative x. I'm also going to bring down my last term of negative 3. So again, I'm going to go over here and look at this outer term here of this x and say, what do I need to multiply it with in order to get negative x? Well, I would need to multiply this with negative 1. So I'm going to go ahead and write the negative 1 here. Now let's distribute it to both terms. Negative 1 times x, yes, it is negative x. Negative 1 times 3 equals negative 3. Next, I'm going to draw a line and subtract. So keep in mind, these will become their opposites. They both will become positive, and as a result, they will cancel out. The x's will cancel out as well as the 3's, leaving you with a remainder of 0. So the answer is 5x squared plus 3x minus 1. Now keep in mind, if you had a remainder, you would add your remainder to this answer here by just putting a plus sign there, and then your remainder, whatever it was, would go on top over your divisor. It would be under the bottom if you had a remainder. So again, that is how you would include it with your answer if you had a remainder. But again, notice in this case we don't have a remainder. So again, this is our answer, which is choice B. All right, so number 25, using the synthetic division method, which is just simply a shortcut method preferred by most students. With this method, the first thing you're going to do is write your divisor in the form of x minus c. So this is our divisor right here, and right now I have x plus 3. If I want to write it in the form of x minus c, then this c needs to be a negative 3, because negative 3 but with a negative in front of it would be plus 3. So it would look like this again. If our divisor is x plus 3, to write it in the form of x minus c, c then would have to be negative 3 in order for you to get an x plus 3. So c is negative 3. Now if that confuses you, just know that whatever the divisor is, in this case x is with plus 3, so just think of the opposite. Then is just think of negative 3, the opposite. Or what you can do is solve for x. If you set this equal to 0 and solve for x, what you have is x would equal negative 3. So that's another way to look at it. The bottom line is the next step, you're going to write down just your coefficients of the dividend. So here is our dividend here. But we only want to write down just our coefficients. So you're going to basically just drop all the variables behind the coefficients. So when we do that, it looks like this. And then lastly, before we start the process of synthetic division, we're going to draw a line and then bring down our first term. Okay. So when I draw a line and bring down my first term, I have 5 times negative 3 equals negative 15. 18 take away negative 15 equals 3. 3 times negative 3 equals negative 9. 8 take away negative 9, 8 combined with a negative 9 is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 3 equals positive 3. Negative 3 combined with a positive 3 equals 0. There's your remainder, and you have solved it using the synthetic division process. Number 26A. Write 4.5 times 10 to the negative 6 in standard form. So what is the correct answer? Choice A. So here we're asked to write that scientific given number in standard form. So to write it in standard form, we're going to look at the 10 base of negative 6. That tells us we're going to, from that decimal point, move 6 places to the left. So if we move 6 places to the left and insert a decimal, we're basically going to make the number a smaller number. So from the decimal point, move 6 places to the left and insert the decimal, and there you have it, choice A. Number 26B, scientific notation. express the number 0.000072 in scientific notation form. So what is the correct answer? Choice B. So to write or express a number in scientific notation form, you would need to write the number as a decimal times 10 to some base power. So the power of the 10 base can either be a negative number or a positive number depending on the original number. So in this case, this number is a micro number. So if the original number is less than 1, the 10 base is going to be a negative number. And then if the 10 base is greater than 1, you will use a positive power. In terms of the decimal must be a number that is greater than or equal to 1, but less than 10. So to express this particular number, to be a number between 1 but less than 10, I would need to move between the 7 and the 2. So we need to count how many places do I need to move to get there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would put me between the 7 and the 2. So the decimal point is moved 5 places. And again, since the original number is less than 1, we use -5 for the exponent of the 10 base. And so that is why the answer choice is B. Okay, that's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching Math on PowerPoint Tutorials. If you like this video and found it to be helpful in any way, please like it and subscribe to my channel.